The Gemara tells us that the great rabbi Rav Papa, he was making his way up a ladder, and suddenly the ladder rung snapped and cracked underneath his foot. And at that moment, the Gemara does something very interesting. It's as if the Gemara freezes Rav Papa in the air and gives us an insight of what was going on in his mind at the time that he was falling. And he says to himself, did I ever do anything to be over and chayav sekila? Says the Gemara, sitting there was another rabbi by the name of Chia bar Abba. Chia bar Abba tells Rav Papa as he's falling, it's not because of any of the things you're thinking of. You know why the step caved in and broke underneath your foot? It had to be that a poor man came knocking at your door, asked you for tzedakah, and you held back from giving him tzedakah. Don't hold back from giving tzedakah to the aniyim when they need it. You know what's going to happen? Darga tavir. The step underneath you is going to break. Says the Gaon, take a look. What's the ta'amim on the pasuk patoach tiftach? You know what the ta'amim on these two words? Darga tavir. I want you to open your hearts because you have no idea where this class is going. Comes young David HaMelech. David HaMelech comes out to the battlefield to fight Goliath, a slingshot in hand, to take on the giant. With Hashem's help, he whips the stone and he brought down the giant. All of Klal Yisrael took all their gold and their silver and their jewelry and their rings and their diamonds, and they threw it onto young David. And David had a moat, a mountain of precious stone, and he consecrated it to one day. This is the money I'm going to use to build the Bet HaMikdash. One early morning, the Gemara Berachot tells us, the rabbis came into the inner chamber of David, and they said, Adoni HaMelech, we got a problem. Your Highness, Your Majesty, the Jewish people, there is a terrible aniyut in Klal Yisrael. There was just a plague. There was a terrible market. Everything crashed. The Jewish people are now ba'aniyut gidolah. They desperately need funds to kick in, to be mefarnes, the hungry and the poor of Klal Yisrael. When David HaMelech heard that, he said, if that's the case, then we have no choice. Go to war. And the wealth we get from the wars we win, let that come and fund the needy of Klal Yisrael. So he did not take from his own bet otzarot of gold and silver, because in his mind, that's untouchable, that he put away for the Bet HaMikdash. Says Hashem to David HaMelech, listen to these words. David, you have blood on your hands. You've done so many wars. I cannot allow such bloody hands to build the Bet HaMikdash. The Gemara says, David HaMelech said to Hashem, Hodi'eni Hashem et kitzi. Hashem, I want to know the day I'm going to die. Hashem says, okay. You're going to die on Shabbat Kodesh. The Malach HaMavet shows up to the castle of David HaMelech, and this is due day, Shabbat Kodesh. And the Malach HaMavet finds David HaMelech learning Torah. The Malach HaMavet goes to the backyard of the castle. He began to shake the trees. David went up the steps to look out the window to see what's going on in the backyard. Ifchit darga mitute. The steps broke underneath David HaMelech's feet. Malach HaMavet took him. The ta'amim, darga, tevir, that the steps will break underneath the feet of someone who holds back from giving tzedakah. Wow, David HaMelech, he also had the steps break under his feet. It's at the time that you're falling that you need to grab yourself in midair and stop and say, why am I falling? It must be that I didn't give enough. Now at the time of difficulty, we need to be giving more, not less. That prevents the fall. That prevents tomorrow's fall. Says the Radak, Kach Amar Shlomo. This is what Shlomo said. After he finished building the Bet HaMikdash, he brings out all of his father's riches. What does he do with it? Says Shlomo, my father was supposed to spend all of this riches and wealth that he put aside to build Bet HaMikdash, he was supposed to spend then by giving to the Ra'av, to the famine, to the Aniyim of Klal Yisrael in those days. Lahayot bahem Aniyeh Yisrael. In order to bring life to the poor of Israel and eventually to bring tikkun to his father, Shlomo took all the wealth of his father, David, and he ended up giving out to the Aniyim of Klal Yisrael. You want to build a Bet HaMikdash in 2 weeks? You're screaming, Mashiach, Mashiach, Mashiach. We cannot hold back from giving tzedakah to Aniyim right now before Pesach. We're collecting Kimcha de Pischa. And because of this, because he held back from giving tzedakah to Aniyim, he was not able to build a Bet HaMikdash. If you want to make a difference, quietly, I'd like to take on a goal together, a personal goal that I want to shake the heavens. Because if you really want a Mashiach to come, if you really want a Bet HaMikdash to be built, we need major zechut, not little zechut, not good zechut. We need major zechut. And Shamayim is going to stop and say, my gosh, you saw what they did? I'd like to be able, this Pesach, to send to 101 almanot in Eretz Yisrael $180 each. There's an organization named Yad Eliezer that I work with all year, helping almanot in Israel. These are almanot, Yitomim. Who's going to run the Pesach Seder? Who's the father at home? That these kids are going to say Manishtana this year. These almanot are home, alone, with no husband, with no father. Hundreds of families. They have over 800 almanot. I wish I could raise more money, but at least let's start with 101 almanot, giving each one $180. That's $18,000. It's not a lot of money. This community, our community, was blessed that we raised triple that number during Sudat Shalishit, because we have the givers of Klal Yisrael. Now is the time that the givers get up in the toughest of times and show their commitment to those who desperately need. It's at the time that you don't have that Hashem wants to see what you're going to give. Please help me. 2219 East 7th. Between you and V. You could slip the check or the cash under the door.